to strongly advise the laity here, especially what I mean by the laity, members of any congregation of the children of God. There's a problem that goes on these days, and it's about I won't say you wouldn't venerate your pastors or prophets or whoever leads you in your congregation, but it does not get things done well, and it does not go well with your pastor or with your prophet when you over venerate him. It's when you start treating your pastor like God, you are actively trying to demonize him. That's what you are doing. You may not know. When you start treating him like God, you are actually trying to demonize him. Only demons covertly take up the roles of Almighty God, akin to how their Lord and Master, Satan, tried to take up the roles of Almighty God before he was exterminated from the high heavens to the earth, where he started tormenting our first father and mother in the Garden of Eden. The Bible is explicit about this in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 4 and 5, which says, "You must not make any idols. Don't make any statues or pictures of anything up in the sky or of anything down in the water. Do not worship or serve idols of any kind, because I am the Lord thy God." God says that very clearly in Exodus chapter 20, verses 4 and 5. So, very unfortunately, when you venerate your pastors, you are causing problems for them. You are putting them in situations that are not conducive to what they are supposed to represent. We have to be very careful about this. You see, and pastors too should always assume praying with people less than praying for people. You see, there are two different things. When you say you are praying for somebody, you are putting yourself in a position higher than that individual at the first place, which may not be necessary. But when somebody comes to you, maybe a member of your laity comes to you with a problem, you pray with him or her. It makes you maintain a humble position. When I'll say, "Pastor, let me pray with you," instead of saying, "Let me pray for you." When you say, "Let me pray for you," you're already putting yourself at a higher pedestal than humanity, which may not be too good for you. So, and of course, there's no doubt God in some cases has directed his prophets to act like him, extending his dominion powers to them while giving them assignments, as in some assignments to do. There's a primary Bible verse that talks about that, as God positions a prophet to act in his place. In Exodus 7, verse 1, which says, "And the Lord said to Moses, See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet." You see, stop replacing God with them, with pastors, prophets. You put them in stuffs like trouble when you do that. Blood flows in their veins too. They are humans like you. And they also have their own issues. They have their own problems. So there's no wisdom in, yes, respect the pastor, venerate the pastor to a level. No, but then don't turn the pastor to God in the process of venerating him. And of course, I know a lot of pastors who possess that native intelligence and wisdom to the level that even before you kneel down for them, they have already prostrated for you, even in their cassocks and surplices. You could call that, a sort of a Mabat immediate syndrome. So especially young pastors these days have that wisdom. They know that there's something called reciprocal veneration, which they try to do when a laity, remember, even somebody younger than them and their laity tries to prostrate to them or something, they have even rushed to prostrate before that person. So that's the sort of wisdom that by some pastors. So let's try as much as possible to let our pastors assume human nature. Don't let them start thinking of themselves as heavenly bodies, as celestial bodies, once they start thinking like that, there's a problem. So always make sure that you allow your pastor to be who he's supposed to be in human, in human nature. So that's just it. May Almighty God direct us constantly and always on how to make sure that we don't overdo things. We don't we don't turn people who are supposed to be worshippers of God into God themselves. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. Bye now.